All right. What's up, y'all? This is Marcus Frazier from Teachable Tuesdays, here to motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to be a better you. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time, stumbling across my page, I would like you to go ahead and hit the subscribe button on the bottom of your screen. Make sure you click the title to stay up to date with all of my videos and my content. Greatly appreciate it. Tonight, we are going to be continuing with the mental health series part 4. We're going to be talking about mental health in terms of you being single, and also mental health in terms of you being in a relationship, and why both are important, okay? So I have a lot of points to cover in a short period of time. Just bear with me, and I hope you find something useful out of this, okay? So, when it comes to being in a romantic relationship, or if you are single, I need you all to understand that both are equally important in their own way, depending on which side you're on, okay? Now, if you're single, I feel like that's a good thing. And continue to work on yourself as you are single. And the reason I say that is because being single is a time for self-development. It's a time where you can truly work on yourself. You're not obligated to anyone unless maybe you have kids, but even if you do, you don't have to have extra responsibilities of taking care of a significant other and making sure he or she is well cared for and that you spend time with them and so on and so forth. All right. So being single can definitely be a good thing in terms of self-motivation, and also in terms of just, making sure you are self-developing daily. Now, being in a relationship can also be a good thing, a romantic relationship, because, it's nice having a partner that you feel like you can build with, and you can't do everything by yourself. Sometimes you need a little bit of help, but I'm not saying be in a relationship just because you need help now. Don't do that. But it's nice having somebody that you want to build with, that you can build with, okay? So both definitely have its pros, both definitely have its cons, but there's a couple of things mental health wise that I want to talk about. I'm going to start with singleness first, my single folk, and then I'm going to move on to my folks that are in a romantic relationship, okay? Not necessarily marriage, although I guess some of these concepts can apply to marriage, but just a romantic relationship in general. So starting off with single, as far as, protecting your mental health when it comes to being single, one thing I want you guys to understand is it's okay to be single, okay? Me, myself, at least at the time of this recording, things could change obviously in the future. I am currently single. I've been single for a few years now, and I've really used this time to work on myself. I've worked on this, use this time to, improve some of my habits, getting rid of some of my bad habits, increasing my good habits. Intellectually improving myself, spiritually improving myself, getting connected with God, and so many different things, right? So all of that is very, very important. A lot of people try to put a stigma on single, like if you're single, that's a bad thing. Being single is not a bad thing. Just like being in a relationship is not a bad thing. But you also have to remember, the grass is not always greener on the other side. So choose your side wisely in accordance to where you are currently in your life, and just strive to be the best you can be in, okay? Don't pay too much to what's going on around you. It's very easy to mentally go astray when it happens. You see it all the time throughout social media. You see all your couples and booed up and all that good stuff. And it can be very frustrating. And sometimes it can send you in a downward spiral when you're seeing it that much and you're wondering why it's not happening to you. Especially when you're having a hard time finding a man or a woman, depending on your preference, that, matches up to your standards, or, that you could even get a date with for that matter. But it's very important as a single individual to stay in your own lane, okay? Celebrate others. Now, I know some of y'all are looking like, what? Celebrate others? Why am I celebrating other people in a relationship? Here's why. When you find somebody, right? And I know some personal experience. When you find somebody that really matches what you're looking for, that meets your standards, that is able to appreciate you as much as you appreciate them, it is a wonderful feeling. So when you see others that are, doing that, congratulate them, celebrate them, because that's not easy, especially in today's society of dating. Because you have to also remember that your time is coming. Keep your options open, okay? When you are single, okay? You can date whoever you want to date. You can hang out with whoever you want to hang out. Just be mindful of what you do. Don't play games with people. That's not a good thing. You don't want to do that. But definitely keep your options open, and most importantly, continue to work on you, okay? Now, as far as your mental health in a romantic relationship, couple things that you want to do. Number one, if you're in a romantic relationship currently with someone, you want to make sure you keep communication open, okay? Communication is detrimental. It is key, all right? A relationship will fail without proper communication. Always keep the lines of communication open no matter how you feel. I don't care how angry you are at that person or how upset they made you today. Keep that communication open. Let it be known, because I promise you it's going to take you a long way and it's going to be very, very important, okay? Understand each other's love languages. Everybody does not have the same love language. There are 5 love languages mainly that everyone uses. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it right now, but for example, if your partner's love language is quality time, and that's her only love language or his only love language, you could be hugging and kissing him and trying to hold his hand and be up under him or her. And not to say that they won't do it back, but that might not be how they show love. And that might not, in the way they show love might not be how you show love. And that's okay. You just have to make sure there's an understanding in terms of, what are y'all love languages and how do y'all work them out amongst each other? Now, if y'all love languages are the exact same thing, then hey, glory, awesome. But if they're not, take time to get to know each other's love languages. It's very important. I know my love language is physical touch and quality time. So I love hugging, I love kissing. I'm not even talking about sex. Just, being close to somebody, being affectionate. That's who I am. I also love spending time with you. I mean, you can get me gifts. Gifts are nice, but that ain't really my thing. You can do acts of service. I'll appreciate it, but that ain't my top-notch thing, So just make sure you understand that. Understand that boundaries are important. In a relationship, you have to set boundaries. If you don't set boundaries, there's no order. If there's no order, that leaves room for madness and chaos, okay? Set boundaries between your significant other and yourself. For example, if you have a boundary where you're saying, look, no sex till marriage, then that boundary needs to be stated before really you guys get in a relationship. And if the person can't respect that boundary, then you don't need to be with them, okay? Boundaries are important. Boundaries are put in so that way it keeps the chaos and madness out, all right? Be intentional. I mean, you should really be intentional before you get in a relationship, but be intentional with everything that you do in terms of you being in a relationship and being with that person, okay? That's extremely important. Now, I know it sounds like I may be giving advice, but I'm really not. I'm going to tie this into mental health, but I'm going to give you like a few points real quick. If you're single and you feel like you're mentally off, here are some things that you can do. Number 1, do something that you love. You're single. You're single for a reason, okay? Ain't nobody going to stop you. You ain't got to get permission from nobody. Really just make sure you invest time in yourself. Treat yourself. You might treat yourself to some ice cream. You might go to a restaurant all by yourself. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And just remind yourself that you're special. It's really easy to go into a downward spiral when you're single and you see all these people in a relationship and you're wondering why you're not in one, okay? So remind yourself every day that you are special, you are worth it, and one day you will be worth it to somebody, okay? If you're in a relationship and you're mentally going through some things, here are a couple things that you can do. In addition to the 3 things that I already mentioned. Talk to your partner. And if you're on the receiving side, please be receptive to what your partner is saying, especially men. We have the habit to want to be Mr. Fix-It all the time. Sometimes you got to understand that people don't want a solution. They just want a listening ear, okay? So just be there for them. Make sure you locate triggers. Every relationship has triggers. And I'm not talking about just the trigger with your significant other. There are certain aspects of a relationship you may not like. Identify them. And if they have to do with you, address them internally. If they have to do with your partner, then sit down and talk with them. And this is where, keep a communication open is important. And take things in stride, regardless if you're by yourself or your partner. This applies for both sides. The grass is not always green on the other side, like I mentioned before. And every day it's not going to be easy being single. Every day it's not going to be easy being in a relationship. But every day is every day. And you can make every day a good day if you choose to. All right? So take things in stride. And just remember, it's important to focus on whatever lane you're in. So if you're single, focus on the single lane. If you're in a relationship, focus on that lane. Don't worry about what's going on outside your lane, because otherwise you'll crash. All right? Cool. So listen, thank you guys for joining me today. Greatly appreciate it. Giving you a heads up, part 5, the finale of the mental health series, is going to be next Tuesday. We're going to be talking about mental health in the midst of a pandemic. and a social uprising. You do not want to miss that. All right. So this is Marcus Frazier from Teachable Tuesdays, here to motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to be a better you. I love you, and I hope you guys have a great night, and please be safe. Peace.